I don't really feel like I was living until I started experiencing this. There is no obtaining a promise from God without renewing. I can't believe these words are coming out my mouth and I'm here on YouTube talking about this. Stepping into God's will for your life and being renewed in Christ is kind of the same thing as becoming your higher self or becoming your highest version or leveling up. If you want to say it like regular terms, like leveling up, it requires you to go from here to here. And in doing so, God gives you the wisdom so that you understand why you cannot operate at this frequency anymore. God will give you the wisdom to know and understand why you operated the way you did before and why it can no longer work for you moving forward. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about being renewed through Christ. Okay, like I feel like when it comes to being born again, but like actually, it's not something you knowingly walk into. Like, yes, you have to knowingly make and choose and decide to let God take lead of your life, to give God ultimate control over your life. For me, it took wanting better for my life to really step out on faith and surrender to God and thus becoming renewed. But the vision that I had of that version of myself that made me make that step is for later down the line. This renewing, this being reborn takes place after you step out on faith, because the act of surrendering to God is an act of faith. And I want to go to the book of Habakkuk, and I love that it has titles kind of. So the title of this one is The Just Live by Faith. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." I love that verse for so many reasons, but I wanted to read that one because it's during the tarry. It's during the tarrying of the vision, because there is a process, and I'm sure there are other verses in the Bible that mention this, but it is a process that you have to go through. And I did not know that at first, but there is a process, and it's during that process, and it's during the tarrying of the vision in which you are stripped of all the things that cannot come with you. The being born again is genuinely a stripping, a removing, God taking away all of the thought processes, all of the habits, all of the ways of being, all of these thoughts, all of the things that kept you bound to this lower version. That is what the tarrying will consist of. And at the end of it, because it does say at the end it will speak and it will not lie, so it will come to pass. Whatever vision you have for yourself, whatever version you have that you want to become, you have to be born again to become it. But you will become it, okay? Once you do become it, realize that you had to be renewed. There is no obtaining a promise from God without renewing. There is no becoming who God created you to be without being cleansed of who you have been. I do have some stuff written down today, okay, that I wrote down in my phone. First of all, this process is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I walked into renewing myself through God. Like, I stepped out on faith in my career. I stepped out on faith financially. It was more so of a thing where it was like, okay, God, like I've always had a relationship with God. I've always prayed. I've always, read my Bible here and there. But it's like, this time it was different, because I knew like I was tired of what I was getting from life, and I wanted what he wanted for me, because my way is limited. My view is limited. I was working jobs that I knew I was bigger than and I could do better than, but I was still operating with limitation. Like I could feel like there were limitations on my life. And that's also what made me fully surrender to God, was I just was tired of feeling limited. Like, God is in control of all things. If he is in control of all things, meaning all things, and he is my father and he has plans for me and my life, he is now in full control of my life. That means that I must get to experience the things that I want to experience through his will, through his way. A year later now, I can honestly say, like, through this becoming reborn and through that process, one that has led me to fully like know God and grow my relationship with him and become renewed in him, I can now say like that freedom that I was searching for, I have it now without having any of the physical stuff that I intended to have in the beginning of my journey. Like it's really crazy. And I think of it in the way of like, okay, God created us all. We are born into this world. The world is full of sin. The world is full of demonic people. I'm so sorry, but it is. Unfortunately, we do have to experience these people. We do have to experience these things. We do have to experience these forces and these energies and these entities that want to kill, steal, and destroy everything that God has planned for us. So it is through the experiencing of these things that we may start to attach ourselves to habits and ways of being that, I don't know, may have protected us when we were younger, that may have been coping mechanisms for the experience of all these things. Whatever we have learned through the world, we kind of have to detach from it in order to become who God has called us to be. This journey of becoming who God has called me to be is, I don't really feel like I was living until I started experiencing this. Like, this is stuff that I know, like, not everybody gets the experience and not everybody gets the blessing and not everybody gets the gift of becoming renewed in God. Like, a lot of people may have a relationship with God. A lot of people may go to church. A lot of people may read the Bible. A lot of people may come and talk on YouTube about X, Y, and Z. But when you truly know God, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I always obviously knew Jesus and loved Jesus and all the things, but I didn't really know Jesus until I started this journey. It wasn't until 2025 where I was always praying, I was always connecting with God, where he really introduced me to Jesus. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay. Really is a beautiful thing. Though it's hairy, babes, and though you are being born again, the whole 9-month period of the pregnancy and the whole period of what they call that, gestation, or the whole period of like the renewing process is hard. It's lonely, it's scary, it's sad, it's a lot of grieving, it's a lot of crying, it's a lot of learning, it's a lot of realizing, like it's a lot of accepting. And it is a very hard process. It is a very gruesome process. And this is why so many people live their lives without doing it. Because I feel like maybe something in them knows what it's going to take. And it's a lot, okay? I also wanted to point out, like, it is very scary because it is legitimately the unknown. The unknown, right? You know, the unknown, the void, all of that. It is very scary, but it's kind of like when you take the spiritual route and you look at it from the perspective of giving your life to God, becoming a child of God is like, that is genuinely my father. Like, that is your father. You know, like when you have a child or when somebody has a child and the child doesn't know what's happening and everything is new to the child and it's up to the parent to lead them in the right direction. It's literally like that. The unknown is scary because it's a brand new world in a sense, and it's a brand new life in a sense, but we get the benefit of knowing who's in control, and we get the benefit of knowing as we go and learning as we go. Like, we don't walk this walk blind. You don't walk this walk blind. You don't walk this walk clueless. Like when you're in the world and when you're trying to figure things out yourself, you feel clueless because you are. But when you turn it over, give your life to God, and I can't believe these words are coming out my mouth and I'm here on YouTube talking about this. But this is where we are. When you genuinely give your life to God, it's like, hands up, enjoy the ride. Come on now. I know where I'm ending up at the end of the day, says things go south, and hey, I'm not mad at it. And what I am so grateful for in this whole being born again and being renewed process is that you really get to go through a process of realizing what kept you small. You go through a process of realizing what kept you in lack, what kept you in scarcity, what kept you separated from God, what kept you out of his will, the things that you picked up along the way that really don't even belong to you, the things that you picked up along the way that were really just coping mechanisms for the things that you experienced through life. Because when you are chosen and when you are a child of God, it's like you are, the things that we go through is crazy. Like the experiences on all fronts. And it gets to a point in your life, like it did for me, you get to a point where you feel like all you truly have is yourself, and that is what gets you to the point of turning to God. There's something in that moment, because I've had that moment a couple of times in my life, and I've always turned to God, and each time it's got me closer and closer and closer. But he always kind of corners you and creates this situation. And I feel like this is what, because they do say many are called and few are chosen. I'm kind of ranting right now, but I feel like that is what separates the call from the chosen. Like when you are chosen, God will see to it that you have no one except him. There are times in my life where I tried to have everybody. I tried to do everything. I tried to be everywhere. I tried to be accepted. I tried to go here. I tried to go there. I tried to do that. But when God chooses you, you just can't do it. Doesn't matter how hard you try. So realizing that you have that in you, you have that vision, you have that version of yourself that you are ready to become, and you take that leap of faith and you walk out in faith, it leads to this being renewed. It leads to this becoming born again. And a lot of people here, I got saved, I got born again, I don't know if it's so different things, but a lot of people hear that and they think like, okay, like, all right, now here we go. Like, all right, you completely different. Everything Jesus, everything God. Like, sorry, wait, in a sense, yes, everything Jesus, everything God. I'm so sorry. But like, I'm still myself in a way. Like, it's weird. It's very, very weird for me, I guess, because I'm in the early stages. This renewing process it's crazy, but I am obsessed. I can't lie. I think that's really it for today's video. I don't know what this kind of was. I hope this made sense. I hope I can piece this together in a way that makes sense for you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because it's a gift. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Everybody has faith in God, but who's really walking in it? Okay, everybody has faith in God, but who's really stepping out on it? Can I hear that? Okay, so I love you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.